Okay, guys, welcome to the second week of the Senior Gold Selection training. So I'm glad you guys are here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of you. 4 of you showed up. So I expect by the, can you guys hear me okay? Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's try this. We live in a 1-horse town, and I am at the end of the road of that 1-horse town. So our internet does not always work great. So we should be better now, though. We should be better now. So welcome to the call. This is the second week of the Senior Gold Selection training. So I'm going to start off and just an update, just a check-in from you guys. I want to hear from you. How are things going on this, the winning day? Those 7 steps I think we went over last week. How's things going with that? Have you seen any changes? Have you done the 7 steps? That's the first thing. If you have you seen any changes? But just in consistency, have you seen any changes the way people are responding to you? Are you seeing any changes in your confidence as you are being more consistent? Let's hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I have. I've definitely seen some changes. I have more people responding to me, and I do think I am showing up with more confidence. And I do feel like if I just send out messages, I automatically start tweaking the messages. So the more messages I send out, the easier it is for me to find that message, that go-to. When I'm resistant to send out messages, I feel like I kind of fumble through them, but when I just do it, it just gets easier. And I have been really, really working on my mindset, because I have been so fearful for negativity. And I mentioned it, that I got coached on that. And that's not my first time being coached on it. It's like my 5th time being coached on it. But I'm bound and determined to push through it. And I do see that there is a level of negativity that I present to myself. That's what Emily Gibson had said, that is actually my negativity. It's not negativity I'm receiving from other people. It's how I perceive it. But I do see some growth in that area. And there's some, feedback that I get that my brain isn't freaking out about. So I'm seeing some growth there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, hey, that's all excellent stuff. And one thing I want to bring up an important point as far as the negativity. I was just talking to the kids this morning, and talking about controlling what we can control, right? And can we control negativity from other people?
Mm-mm.
No. I mean, we can control how we approach those people. We can control the messages we use, the posts that we post. but we can't control someone else's negativity or opinion of network marketing or Plexus or us. What we can control is what we think of us. We can control the negativity that we use on ourselves. So I think one of the things is control what we can control. When we try to control other people or what their response will be or what their attitude is, it's really frustrating because we really can't control anybody else. We can control how we approach them. We control how we respond to their responses. And that's really important. When we start to live our life that way, whether it's Plexus or just life in general, just controlling the things that we can control, then there's a freedom that comes. Actually, there's a confidence that comes, and we become more productive because we're actually focusing on the stuff we actually have control over. And so that's not like, okay, I got it and then it's over. I think that this is a lifelong, I think that this is a lifelong learning. There's things that don't bother me anymore about people. They just don't. But there's still things that do. Let's just be honest, we all want to be included. We all want to be appreciated. There's not a one of us that wants to be told no. There's not a one of us that wants to be made fun of because of our little network marketing business. I don't want to be, but I'm slowly shedding off those cares, not because I don't care about doing a good job or because of anything like that, but I don't care about what people think. I'm just slowly, getting rid of those things that really have held me back in the past. So good for you. Excellent on the coaching. As far as the 5 times being coached on the same thing, perfect. Make it 10. Make it a weekly coaching if you have to. Make it a daily coaching. Some of these things, it's a constant battle. And so you have to constantly battle, right? These things sometimes. So good for you. Super happy for you. Love the way you're showing up. Lots of energy. Who else?
I feel like my biggest struggle in the summertime is being busy and juggling all the things. We homeschool, but we don't take time off during the summer. And so I could give you a variety of really great excuses why I am not consistent on the daily, but I don't want to. So I feel like my biggest struggle right now is getting back into routine. It's always reevaluating my time management. It's always getting, juggling all the things and trying to be consistent. And I find the more consistent I am messaging people and reaching out, the more time it takes because the more conversations I'm in. So part of it is a balance of how much conversing I'm doing with people, because I got to also balance family time and duties at home. I do feel like my mindset is a big thing I have to work on right now in regards to getting back into routine, because it's so hard once you fall off of that to, start getting up early again, to do IPA before kids get up, that kind of thing. So that's really where my biggest struggle is at the moment.
Okay.
Routine.
Yeah. So routine, let's talk about routine. So I think that routine, we homeschool as well. We do take the summer off and it's pretty wild and free, which is awesome because Megan and I get a lot more Plexus work done than we do well, I don't know if that's true or not. It's just different. Right? So right now we have some routines, but it's pretty loose. The summer is pretty free and fun and just filled with work. And also we work mainly outside, but, and we're getting ready to start school again on Monday. So, it's back to the early morning wake ups. It's back to the early morning exercises. It's back to really time blocking and, just being very careful with our time so we can get everything done that we say is important to us. So one thing I was going to mention to you as far as the as far as your reach outs go, when you are reaching out, yes, that means there's a lot more follow-ups. But one thing you should look at is for every, let's say 10 reach outs you do, how many of those convert into a conversation? Do you know?
Not very many. 1 to 2 perhaps. There's a lot of non-responsive people.
Well, one thing that you can do is you don't have to do reach outs every single day.
Mhm.
So I think we should not be so rigid that we don't complete all the things we want to do. So let's say you did 4 days of reach outs and then 1 day of follow-ups,
Mhm.
right? Or do 3 days of reach outs, whatever it is, 3 or 4 days of reach outs. And then on Friday, just make it some corny thing like follow-up Friday, right? Some whatever, you know what I mean? So I mean, we have the ability, remember, control it, you can control. So we can control what our time, we tell our time what to do. We don't respond to our time. That's true freedom. When we tell our time and our minutes and our moments what to do, rather than just to respond and react to everything, that's freedom. So one thing I think is just maybe rethink what that looks like reaching out and following up, rather than trying to do it all every day. I have to do my list. Well, you're in control of your list. This winning day thing it's a great idea, and all of the things on there are good and will help you build your business, but you can recreate it to whatever works for you. I mean, you're not going to get fired from Plexus because you don't follow the 7 steps of the winning day, right? This is a volunteer force. It's like a volunteer army.
Right.
So, I mean, they're all good things, but you can rethink that and just make 1 day for follow-ups, follow-ups are extremely important. Or 1 day for meetings, or 1 day, or however that looks for you. Just and another thing is that may change over time. Like the way my business is run now is way different than when it was when I was a gold, right? It's just different. It's different. And so you have to constantly be reevaluating. You're talking about reevaluating and getting back into a routine. I think routines are good, but and I think we should be rigid and we should be fluid at the same time. I think there are certain times that need to be protected during the day, but we should also be fluid enough that we can do a couple things on the move if we have to. So what was I? Like reevaluating or getting back into a routine. Here's the thing, and I shared this the other night on a call. We did a coaching call on whatever night, that Tuesday night, I think it was. And we were talking about work-life balance, family, marriage. How do you do it all? And that sort of thing. The answer is, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not trying to sell books, so I'm not going to write a book on the perfect work-life balance because I think it's a myth. So as far as the routine goes, it's a good way to sell books. That's what the work-life balance is. That's nothing. It's a myth. Because if you're going to be good at anything, you're going to have to be seasonally completely dedicated and focused to that thing, whatever it is, whether it's marriage, kids, work, exercise. That's what it takes to be excellent. So that's why I think we only need about 5 at most priorities in life. Anything more than that's a waste of time. We only have so much time and energy. So as far as a routine goes, that's going to have to be something I think that you evaluate annually. What are we doing this year? What are we trying to accomplish and how are we going to accomplish it? It's something we need to reevaluate monthly, weekly, hourly, and moment by moment. We all have a lot of things going on. So I think we need to free ourselves up from this idea of I have my perfect routine here and then life is just going to be, it's going to be grand and easy because I wrote it down on my calendar here. Well, from my experience, that is a great plan but it's not always realistic. So you have to be able to adjust, and you have to be able to adjust fast when it comes to those routines, especially when you have kids and you're homeschooling and all those things, and you have all these different people and attitude and schedules to, things change fast. So I would be reevaluating that routine often. That's and not every day is going to be the perfect day. Not every day is going to be exactly the way that you had planned it to be, right? But you have to be very good at coming up with plan B and executing plan B, and sometimes plan C and D and E and F and G, and like you have to be fast, right? So I'm with you there on the routine. We're in the same boat right now. We're reevaluating everything and cutting certain things out of our life and adding certain things into our life that we didn't do, or that we did do last year. Like we're constantly adjusting. Who else? Tell me about what's going on. Tell me about the winning day and the things that you applied to your business this last week.
I'll go. So I've been, working the winning day, doing my usual posts, reaching out. I've reached out to a whole lot of my international friends that are in Canada and Australia. So I was working on those, and I was really hoping I could get my cousin in Canada on board, because she's in a really big group. Anyway, she has a lot of networking people, and but she's like, no. And it's hard, and she's not on Facebook or any kind of social media. So everything is in an email to her. So she's not seeing my daily posts on Facebook and such like that. So she doesn't get that constant dripping. But so I'm still, gonna just hope and pray one day she'll decide to give it a whirl. But so I spent a lot of time there this week, investigating and working back into the international market. I had spent a lot of time at the beginning of July, and then kind of dropped off towards the end of July. So then working everything. I forgot where I was going with this at first. I had something to say and I totally forgot. But so anyways, it's just I've got two gals right now that are doing the reset. They're both on third day today, and both of them are really good, and they both
You guys there?
and I have done incentives for my team that, I'll cover. Like right now, I gave them an incentive this week that I will cover, or this month, I should say, that I will cover all membership fees going in. If they get somebody to, come on board, I will cover that $10 membership. And then I told them anybody that, ranks silver, I will give them a special gift for ranking silver. And I've been working with them, giving them post ideas, verbiage ideas, and things like to that nature. I have been working around that. I posted a couple of posts about the income, and it was really funny because one of the posts, when I was looking this morning at the our commission checks, I thought to myself, then I need to make a post about my commission check. And then I saw Megan. That was one of our challenges with Megan, is to post about that. So I was like, great, I was already getting ready to do that. So, but I can't do that until after 4 o'clock. Cause see, I'm on my full-time job until 4 o'clock. So they can't see me posting stuff until after 4 on Facebook. So gotta wait till then. But that is in the works. I am going to do that this afternoon. So I am going through the motions. I'm doing everything, and I haven't gotten much response as far as the people coming on board right now. It's just, I haven't gotten that response. And I know that's leading to me being mentally tired, because when things are really rolling, and I guess the excitement's there, the adrenaline's there, and I'm all in a great mood and everything. Then all of a sudden, when I get in this little where nothing seems to be, I'm not getting the return for my effort, I feel, I guess, that I don't know what to call it other than just I get mentally tired. And then I don't feel like doing it because I'm mentally just kind of zoned out, washed out of it or something. And I push myself past that point and make myself go. And which I don't have that much problem, but until I start seeing some more excitement with it, I kind of stay in that little mental tiredness thing. And Jamie, I could not even imagine, because I do not have that fear that you're going through on the negativity that's not there. I have to deal with the negativity that is there. That's enough for me to deal with. But I could not even imagine having to deal with reading something and perceiving it in another way, that I'm kind of building my own fear to that. That would be just hard. And girl, you got to get a grip on that. And I'm whatever it takes, coaching, whatever, you get through that, because that's got to be just hard on you. And don't make it hard on you. It shouldn't be that way. Don't worry about what other people think. Do your thing.
Yeah. So a couple different things. Let's go back to the international. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. When I share the screen, it slows everything down. So we'll do it fast. So when you go to your dashboard, and then come down to Training Center, Resource Library, International, right here. I know that this was brought up. We talked about it last week, and it was brought up again in the chat thread. So here you go, International. Everything you need is right here. Australia, Canada, Mexico, US, Hispanic. There's some tips here on how to grow globally, the international bonus pools, all of those things. But I want to show you, let's just say for Mexico, for example, they're all the same, but they're not all the same, but they all have the same things available. Like Mexico, there's a Mexico Facebook brand ambassador community page. So if someone on your team is an ambassador from Mexico, they can be plugged in here. Compensation plan in Spanish, Mexico price lists, product brochures for the things that are available in Mexico, Mexico YouTube channel. There's so many different things that we can use here for recruiting and for people that are already on our team, but in another country. So everything we need is right here. All the Facebook groups, everything else, US Hispanic Facebook, brand ambassador community page right here. They can be plugged in, all in their language. It's a great, great tool. So I wanted to show that.
I had a question on that.
Yep.
Where is New Zealand stuff at?
Australia.
Okay, so that is included within Australia?
Should all be the same.
Okay, I did not realize that.
Yep. So back to what you're saying. How do you get rid of the mental tiredness and all those things when things aren't going how you want it to go? Well, it can get mentally exhausting. And so one of the dangers is when things aren't going well, one of the dangers could be, if I just do more, then it will work. But that always leads to getting tired and getting defeated. I think that one of the main things is the consistency. Consistency, working your business consistently. Let's say you set up a time. Let's say you set up, I'm going to send out, for example, 20 messages today, whatever it is, and I'm going to do it every day. Send your 20 messages and then be done. Focus on the process. we try, if I can just give it some more, if I can just do 20 more reach outs, if I can just do that, then it's really going to work. It might not. Focus more on the process and being consistent with that process on a day in, day out routine, basically, is what I'm saying. So let's say your daily routine, your daily IPA consists of 20 reach outs. Do your 20 reach outs and be done. And then show back up tomorrow and do your 20 reach outs and be done, and go do those other things that fuel you in life. I could sit here at this computer and message people and do Zooms all day long. But I know for me, it's not going to help me build my business. So my thing is focus more on the process and being consistent with the process every day than just doing more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
You will get tired.
it does. And what happened to me is, I was pushing 400 to 500 reach outs a month. And then, and because I was trying to reach, Fast Start Senior Gold. So I don't think that's going to happen. In reality, I've got to the end of this month and I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just excited if I get to retain gold this month. So I think I put my own pressure on myself when I did that. And this way I can back off. And like you say, pick my numbers, do that. And I'm still probably doing 50 a day at minimum. And that's covering everything, reach outs and follow-ups and stuff. I'm probably doing at least 50, at least that a day. But still, that's okay. I'm doable with that. But I'm trying to do so many other things. And I think it was just trying to do it so fast. And so now I'm going to, like you say, back off, do a little bit more, have a gentle slope now, a gentle rise.
Yeah, so think about this. We're in any sort of job or any sort of compensation, this area of business called compensation, we are basically paid for the value that we bring to that industry. Not necessarily we're not necessarily paid for the things we do and the amount of things we do. We're paid for the value that we bring to that company or to those people. So just because we're doing more doesn't mean just because we're doing more activity doesn't mean we're adding more value. A lot of times when we add more activity, I got to do more. I got to do it fast. I got to do it fast. We'll come across desperate. Bring it back to being manageable, to where the messages that we're sending are adding value to the people that are hearing it, not just trying to get us to where we want to go. If we do that and we do that consistently, like on a daily basis, like that's our daily routine, is I'm going to add value to 20 people today. And I'm going to approach these people because I have something that will improve their life. Several things happen. People respond different. And we send different messages. The messages that we send when we have someone that comes to mind who really needs what we have, the value and love that we send in that message is different than the message we send on the 31st of the month when we're finishing up and getting ready to qualify for Leaders Retreat. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
The difference is, hey, I have something that could really help you. And then I think people can sense it because of the messages we send, right? Listen, I really care for you and I have something that will really help you. Let's grab a cup of coffee and talk about it. It's genuine, it's simple, it's relatable compared to,
And then
compared
I've gotten
to, hey,
this at the
compared to, hey, I have a big goal that I'm setting up, and then if you can help me do it, I'll even buy your products. Like, you see the difference?
And I've gotten people actually commented on that because the first couple of months, when we get incentives for us, to push and stuff. And then the people that joined me at the beginning of the month, they're like, well, darn, I wish I'd waited at the end of the month because you gave all those extra stuff. I'm like, oops.
Right. Well, I mean, we learn as we go, right? I mean, there are certain tactics you can use, but I mean, the answer may be dialing back the amount of reach outs you're doing. I know that sounds strange.
Yeah.
Dial back the number of reach outs you do and increase the amount of value that's in those reach outs. A guy early on, I was doing the same sort of thing. I was hammering everybody, and I was doing well, but I felt tired. I didn't feel good. And a friend of mine said, don't lower yourself to the level of selling Plexus. Just go love people. And it changed my approach. I changed my approach in how I reached out to people from that point on. And this was another Plexus ambassador, a dear friend of mine. He's still an ambassador today. So I'm not saying you're doing all those things necessarily, but those are some things that we should evaluate when we're putting in tons and tons and we're starting to get really tired. I think we need to evaluate our approach. We need to evaluate why we're reaching out and how we're reaching out. Are we reaching out because we want to get a fast start bonus, which we should, that's great. Or are we really reaching out with the intention of helping other people? Again, I'm not saying either way for you. I'm just saying those are things we need to evaluate when we're doing all the things and we're still not gaining traction. Something to look at.
Thank you.
Yep. Amber, what do you got?
My name
Oh boy. Hey, that's not going to work out. Yeah, that's not, I think you have some signal issues.
I had to move outside because I live in rural Oklahoma.
Hey, Amber, why don't you type it in the chat? We're not understanding anything you're saying. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. Just type it in the chat and then we can address it.
Apparently, they do not think that
Okay, so Amber's in rural Oklahoma. So
probably.
just type in
Probably, for sure. Because is it coming?
here we go. Yeah, just type it in the chat and then we can address whatever we need to address with you there. Linda, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I would say it kind of started around convention, where that was a very busy week. And then I went immediately after I got home into 2 weeks of feeling like death with COVID.
Oh no.
And then immediately after that, left on a week-long vacation with girlfriends. So I had like a month where I felt like I totally got out of my rhythm and I was doing minimal things. And then found that when you have a whole month kind of off of your routine, it's very hard to jump back into it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like this was helpful to kind of regain my focus.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to a lot of mindset, and I feel like that has helped, kind of gets my head back in the right space. And then when all those negative thoughts are coming in, kind of learn to just get rid of them right away instead of dwelling on them,
Yeah.
which helps make it easier to take the action you need to make when you're not saying all the negative things to yourself. So I started Reset, and I did 2 lives this week with that, and then said I'm going to do a live every day while I'm on it. And then on day 4, just kind of reporting back how that was. I've got one gal that's going to be doing it next week with me. One of the gals on my team started today. And then I have a friend who looks like she's going to sign up this weekend. So it
Perfect.
looks like things are starting to happen. I feel like my struggle is I've gone through my warm market a few times, and it's challenging. I get impatient doing the things I need to do to build again because it's slow and I want things to go faster, but I know that's where I need to focus. And then I'm going to try and do my first reel later on in the week. That's something I know I need to do and just haven't taken the time to figure it out. But the goal is to get at least one done by the weekend.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So again, we have this idea of once we have a routine, once we get out of a routine, it's really hard to get back going. It really is. Whoa. Hold on. It's hard. It is hard. And it's easier to stay in routine if we focus on the process, not necessarily the end goal, right? So if we focus on the process,
Yeah.
and just doing that little bit each day, whatever it is,
Yep.
it's so, and this is that way in everything. And I know this, like, mentally, right? Whether it's exercise or whether it's whatever, it's so easier if I just do a little bit each day. I've learned that there's no getting on, getting off, because that could be a months long process to get back started on something, right?
Totally the slight edge principle.
Right. And we know, the thing is though, we know these things.
I
This
know,
isn't
but we
something
forget.
we don't know. And
Right.
so one of the things is, I think, is that just doing that little bit each day, that every single day, and falling in love with the process. Today, I'm going to make those 5 reach outs, 10 reach outs, 20 reach outs, whatever number that is for you.
Right.
And then get up tomorrow and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And as far as the warm market being tapped out and going into cold market, a new market basically. So there's a couple ideas I have with that. One, this is why the consistency of these winning day things are so important. And we're probably not going to see a lot of fruit in the first week. So that's why I think that a lot of these, let me get to like the sowing seeds for later and all those things, that's probably not going to produce fruit for a while.
Right.
And the same thing with the same things with our posting, whether it's reels or whatever, all those things, the consistency of both those things will produce fruit later. And those things are absolutely necessary to keep our market warm and to keep our pipeline, so to speak, full.
Right.
So those are a part of our businesses, and those are little touches we need to be doing every single day. And that's one thing to do. Another thing is groups. For me, there's a couple different things that make me tick outside of Plexus. Like, Plexus is not my life. It's a big part of my life, and I'm extremely grateful for it. But there's things that I unplug on purpose from Plexus and go do other things that make me happy.
Right. I'm in a couple of groups, but I feel like they're so big
Mhm.
that you kind of get lost
Mhm.
in there.
Mhm.
It's hard. I think I might need something smaller, but I haven't really found anything smaller that interests me, that I feel like I could contribute a lot. So I'm trying to decide, do I leave these groups and go somewhere else? Because they're just so huge. It feels like it's not really
Right.
helping.
Well, one of the things that I've learned on the groups that I'm a part of is that the more value I add to that group, so whether it's about family or finances or whatever, I mean, I mentioned nothing about Plexus.
Right, no,
know.
yeah, you can't.
And so I guess on the group side of things is it comes back to adding value again within that group. It could be basket weaving, right? I'm like a basket weaving group. And so I want to add as much value to the basket weavers of the world that I can. So that's another thing too. And then the ones who add the most value in those groups are typically the ones who get the most follows. So that's another thing I think to look at in light of the groups. We can't really be I'm not saying you're doing this, but I can't really be a fly on the wall. So one of my IPAs for my groups, that one of my business building daily activities is to post within those groups and add value to those groups.
Yeah, I probably need to work on that because it seems like I run hot and cold more, where if I get busy, that gets left out, and then you come back to it and you feel kind of out of it. So yeah, I need to make that more of a daily or at least every other day thing.
Right. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be every other day. When you decide the frequency of the posts in those groups, I mean, you can see how those groups kind of work.
Yeah,
You know, one of the guy groups that I'm in, I can post about every other day, every 2 days. And that frequency is enough to add enough value to those other men in that group. And a lot of them are starting to follow me now. And it's taking time.
sure.
You know, it takes time to build trust. I haven't reached out to any of them about Plexus at all. But a couple of them have reached out to me now about the reset. And so it's really a slow process, but that consistency of adding value over time, you know, increases your warm market, so to speak.
So do you reach out to them or like friend request them, or is it more they're coming to you?
They friend requested me.
Okay,
Good. There's no pressure. I add value to that group, you know, because that group is about being a man, being a father, being a husband, doing guy stuff. And
how
so
big is it?
I'd have to go look.
Like thousands or like, okay.
No, and
And
this
that's
is
what my two groups are. They're probably, I don't know, 2,000 to 3,000.
so, and here's another thing I've learned. Let's see how many. So this one group, there's two groups there. I only do the one, the smaller group. There's 368 members, and they're not
Yeah,
all.
and that's probably what I need more, but I can't seem to find one that I feel like I could contribute and am really interested in.
Another thing is for me with groups, this may not be necessary. I pay to be a part of this group.
Oh, okay, neither one of these, I don't.
It's
Huh.
like, I don't know what it is, $30 a month or something to be a part of this group.
Oh, okay, I've never heard of groups that you pay to be in like that.
You know, so, well, I'm part of the group and then they add me to the Facebook page is what it is. So,
Okay,
and with that, there are benefits that come with it, but I'm with a group of people that are committed.
right, that makes sense. Yeah, you have more commitment if you've got a little money on the line.
Right.
Okay,
It's just something maybe to consider.
Yeah.
And then like tonight, let me look at my schedule. Tonight at 6 p.m., the leader, sounds cultish, but the leader of the group he does a live stream once a month, and then there's a couple Zooms once a month that they do with just the members only, to where it's like a, it's like a, not a mind, it's like kind of like a brainstorming sort. What's the, oh gosh, what's it called?
Yeah, I have the idea of what you're saying.
Some guy will come up, and most of them are veterans, and some guy will come up and say, I'm really struggling with whatever,
Mhm.
alcohol or
Mhm.
suicidal thoughts. And then it's like a mastermind.
Okay,
And then you have 20 or 30 guys that get on there and like, hey, brother, here's the deal. This is what you need. These are things that help
okay.
me, whatever. So it has nothing to, again, it has nothing to do with Plexus. It just has to do with only adding value. If an opportunity
Yes.
arises out of it, great. If it's a good fit, great. And it's just one of those little touches that I have with the cold market world,
Yeah,
and trying to make a warmer market.
yeah, no, it makes sense.
Um,
I
let's-
had somebody accuse, that was one of their, when you said the cult, somebody told me, I'll never get on network marketing. All it is cults.
oh,
Whatever.
man.
Yeah, they accused all network marketing as being cults.
Oh, good. I thank God for this cold all the time. So I don't know.
Me too.
God led me to a cult. I don't know. I guess it's his fault. So anyway, the one thing, oh, you mentioned reels. There's Carissa. Hi, Carissa. So one thing is I want to mention on the reels. Reels can be whatever you want them to be. One of the other groups I'm in is a financial, personal finance and investing group. It's something I'm very interested in. It's something I love to do. But the guy who owns that company does reels every day. And a reel can be whatever you want it to be. It can be fun, it can be silly, it can be entertaining or whatever. The guy I'm talking about for investing and for finances, he does reels every day, and he uses it to educate, not to entertain. Like, so don't think that your reel has to be funny or silly or serious. I mean, it really matches your personality. It can be whatever you want it to be. So if it's like, man, I'm not much of a public dancer, which I am not unless I'm drunk, and I haven't been drunk in a long time. So anyway, a couple of you have a picture in your mind now of me drunk on a dance floor. It's happened. I have plenty of stories, but former life. So the reel should match you. Who are you, right? And like I said, this guy that I know, he does a reel every day. He uses it just as a short clip to educate on one of his financial products that he's selling. We could do the same thing with, I don't know. This is the Plexus Nourishing Body Butter that they never came out with. It was some deal that they put out at one time. So you could do a reel on your just super fast, the benefits, the positives, the ingredients of this Nourishing Body Butter by Plexus, peach scented stuff. So it can be whatever you want it to be. So don't feel stressed about doing a reel that doesn't match your personality.
No, I don't think I worry about that as much. I think it's more just taking the time to learn the mechanics of how you do it and all the different things you can do with it. It takes time, and as you're older, technology is not your friend always, so it takes more time. So that's just it for me. It's not so much I'm worried about getting on there, what to do, dancing, not dancing, being silly. It's how do I get down the mechanics, and then I can figure out what to do. So it's just probably taking the time, making the time and the craziness to learn all that.
Right.
I have a question about that too. I'm with Linda on that. I don't know how to make them. But I've been doing some studying on them, and on my phone, if I'm on my Facebook page on my phone or whatever, I can see, if I put it on there, I can see where it says create a reel. But on my PC, I don't have that option. I can create a story on either one. So on my PC, I have where it says create the story, but on my PC, I do not have the option to create a reel. Is anybody else having that problem?
I just assumed you only do it on the phone, that you could watch them on a PC, but to my knowledge, you can't create them, but maybe you can, but it's, everything I've seen is on phones.
Okay, so that's why I can't see the option then. So it's not just me. That makes
No,
me
I
feel
don't-
better.
I've seen it all from the phone. You have a story or
Okay.
a real option on your phone. Jamie said the same.
And I am very technically challenged on using the phone.
But
I'm
we're
much
learning.
better.
We're getting better.
I'm much better with the PC. That phone,
But
like you
Just
told
carry-
that gal to Amber to type all that stuff. Shucks, forget typing on that phone, and I can't do all that mess. I've been there a year trying to type that stuff.
you can start an Instagram following by just carrying your PC everywhere with you. As for like technically challenged older generation people, you could just carry your PC everywhere you go, and then people will probably follow you to see where you are next with your generator and your
There you go.
You'll have millions of followers probably. So there's an idea. So let's look at really fast. So Amber had put some, let's go back up to her messages. No internet, rural Oklahoma. So she says she struggled with consistency, but this group is so helpful. Sending happy birthdays and offering samples has generated several conversations. I cringe at some of the desperate messages I've sent in the past. Okay, so let's talk just really fast, Amber, about those things. I cringe at some of the messages I've sent in the past. And so I'm like, why did I, like, that is so bad. Why did I do that? That's just a part of it, you know, and we learn as we go. This business is not, we weren't hired onto this company because we have a college degree or because we have experience in network marketing. This is a learn by doing business. Like, they pay us to learn as we do it. So there's a lot of, ooh, okay, don't do that again. So we always have to be evaluating. So you're not alone in that. Again, with the consistency side of things, we have to be consistent. If we're going to be in business and we're going to succeed, we have to be consistent. There's no other way around it. There is no magic pill. And it's going to be a lot of times you fall off and you get back on, you fall off and you get back on, a lot like Rocky Balboa, my favorite movie character of all time. So, but we have to be consistent. That's just the way it is. And groups like this are helpful. They are helpful. They're encouraging, and it's encouraging to get together and to talk and trade talk and, you know, share knowledge with one another and experiences with one another. So stick with the consistency. Let's see. Amber is going to make a business post today and go live. There you go. Perfect. Business posts. Simple. Meet people. You know the people in your Facebook world, right? We know who they are. What makes sense to them? Is it, I mean, like, is it a new Lexus? Is it paying a light bill? Is it paying for your products? Like, consider your audience. You know, what would be very encouraging to them? What do they need to hear today? How can I add value? How can I give hope to the people in my audience today through this business post? Think about those things as you make your business posts. And go live. Perfect. I struggle to know what groups on Facebook to join. First off, you don't have to join any group necessarily. So don't feel pressure about signing up a group. Focus on your warm market already. Focus on your friends list. Focus on your friends, your family, all of those people on your list first. But while you're doing that, consider, you know, what is it that makes me me outside of Plexus? What are the things that I really enjoy, the things I'm good at, the things that add value to my life? And once you determine what those things are, those are the types of groups you should be a part of.
Can I piggyback onto that group's question?
Yep.
I have joined a few of like things that I'm starting to get into, like gardening and fermenting foods and stuff like that, but I struggle with knowing what to post in there. Like, should I be asking questions? Should I, like, I don't know how, I'm struggling with how to like engage with people in those groups. Now that I'm in them, I'm not really sure like how to utilize that to grow my network.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as adding value to those groups, we talked about that, or I think that maybe that was right before you got on. How can you add value to the people in that group? Right. So like if you're going to post, post with the idea or the attitude of, I'm going to add value to this group of people today by posting about my cosmos flowers that we transplanted from the garden or from the yard into the garden or whatever. And another thing could be asking questions. I mean, you don't have to be the resident expert at everything. The people in the groups that I'm a part of, I'm not the best in those groups. I was just telling my kids today, if you're the best, if you're the smartest person in a room, you're in the wrong room. Or if like you're the fastest runner in the runner group, you're in the wrong running group. If you're the richest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like we need to be in groups where we're not the best necessarily, where we're learning. So it could be a matter of posting questions, or as you're learning to garden or whatever it is, you know, hey, I'm having trouble with my whatever zucchini plants. Does anybody take a picture? Does anybody else have issues with this? Give me your tips. You're creating dialogue, you're creating communication right there. And the algorithms of social media love that. So be adding value. And yes, I think asking questions is important. What size of Facebook group would you recommend we join so when we aren't lost in the post? Again, the two groups that I'm part of are a few hundred people is what they are. There are a few hundred people, and I don't really know if there's a right or wrong answer to the size of the group. I think that the more important question is, what group can I be a part of that I can add the most value? I think that's the main thing. Value is the answer. Maximizing value. So a couple people have some appointments they have to go. I thought there was another thing in here. Before we go, Carissa, do you have anything else anything else you're experiencing, or victories or challenges?
I really appreciated the training call the other night that you and Megan and Carissa Casey did.
Yeah.
Because I feel, was it Nicole? Was that the girl that you were, I can't remember her name, that you guys were talking to, but I really related with her with feeling like I can't really time block, because no matter what time I wake up, my children are awake. My husband is stationed in California, so I'm kind of like a single mom, and I homeschool, and like, so I find it very hard to like schedule times in my day to get work done. And I really appreciated how you guys were saying, like, you know, send a couple messages, you know, like throughout the day. Because that's kind of what I've been doing, and I feel like I'm doing it wrong. And so I really appreciated that. It kind of validated for me what I'm doing. And then the accountability groups that I've been in have really helped me stay consistent. Mm-hmm. And I am starting to really see the fruit from that. I had one of my first ambassadors who signed under me, she quit because the products didn't work. And I was still new to sharing, and I feel like I didn't like push back hard enough with her. So she reached out to me just the other day yesterday asking, tell me more about this reset. And so I talked to her about it, and she still has, lo and behold, she still has products from before, like a shocker.
Every time.
Right. And so, but anyways, she's signing up. She's gonna get the triplex and reset combo. She's gonna sign up. So I'm just, and I have a lot of other conversations. I've had more people reach out to me in the last, I want to say maybe week, than I have in months and months and months and months. And I'm certain it's because I've been doing all the posting and I've been messaging, and it's this consistency. And so I haven't seen a ton of fruit from it. I've got this, she's going to sign up. So that's really exciting. And I'm excited to see like where this continues to go for me.
If you're consistent, that's the main thing. Like, I don't know how it all works, but there's something spiritually that happens, like, and I don't understand. The world responds to us, and again, I don't understand it all. I know that there's some weird teachings out there, and I don't necessarily buy into all that stuff, but there are certain rules and laws that apply. Like when I speak certain things when I speak certain things out loud, it changes something in the spiritual realm of the world. I don't understand all of it. And the same thing when we post, and the same thing when we're doing the reach outs, and it's like the market responds when we start. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's this, things respond to our consistency. And I don't understand it, and I'm not going to try to explain it all. And that's what you guys are experiencing now. I think that's amazing. As far as the friend who still has the old products because the products didn't work because she didn't take them. You know, what I do with people like that, I could shame them. Depending on my relationship with them, I will shame. If it's a good guy friend, I'll really make fun of him for being, whatever. But for the most part, I may just go back to people like that and say, listen, when I first started, I didn't know all that I know now. And I think I could have helped you better if we would have done it. Maybe if I would have followed up a little bit more. I believe in the products. I trust in the products. But as far as my leadership goes, I understand more now and I can help you. And I think responding to people that way, I think people appreciate that honesty, right? And so, but congratulations on the consistency. And as you're going throughout the day, like we said on that call the other day, it may not be a time block of 4 perfect hours where the birds are chirping and the kids are napping and everything's just perfect. You have, elevator music playing in the background, and like, that's just not our reality. Our life is wild. Like, I'll be out working with goats, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to message John. Hey, John. And then there's a goat like making noise in the background. Like, there is no, but it's not the consistency of that 4-hour period. It's the consistency of conversations every single day. And that can look however it needs to look.
I was going to say that.
Good.
Like Carissa, I do that. Like right now, I'm sitting on my couch. I have a laptop in my lap. Then I have a laptop sitting over here on this table, which is my personal one, the one I'm looking at. And then I've got another screen over here. So the one on my lap is my full-time job. So while I'm working that laptop and it's spinning or doing I'm over here doing messages. So I go over to this laptop, I do this, and I'm back over here doing messages. I do that all day long. Yeah. So yeah, like you say, I agree. It doesn't have to be a specific hunk of time blocked out. Like you said, when I'm down in the barn feeding the horses, that's where I do my lives most of the time. When I go down there and in the evenings, I'll do my lives because it's in the barn. I'm away from everything else. The horses are eating and I'm doing my thing. So I just do a live, and just, yeah, like Justin said, you're, walking around, do whatever, just do it, plug it in wherever you can.
Megan made it to probably Emerald breastfeeding. Like, that's where she made her, like, that's when she sent out her messages. There was no perfect time, and mine was on the job. Talking to people, just conversing with people. So for every person, it's going to look different. It depends on where you're at in life and everybody has different circumstances, and different things, different seasons that we're in. So it really, the season and all those things are irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You could be in prison. If you have cell phone service, like take the time and bang out some messages today, then go back to doing whatever you do in prison. Tomorrow, bang out some more messages. Like the circumstances are irrelevant. We all have circumstances. There are so many reasons I have to not reach out and talk to people today. We can all come up with enough excuses to do nothing, but that's not going to help us, right? We have to be consistent regardless of circumstances. And there is time in the day to send out those messages. There is. And so just wanted to share that real quick. We're going to get off here. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me on a Facebook message. If you want, you're more than welcome to reach out to me anytime. Also, the chat thread, the messenger group that we have, be plugging into there. If you have questions or if you have victories or anything like that, be sure to share in that. And also this not perfect day, the winning day, be following up and following through with all that stuff. Like, keep doing all those 7 steps. They're all important. They're all important. So be doing that and be doing that consistently. Let's see, we have 2 more things on here. Amber Trantham blasted out her birthday messages while waiting in line at Walmart. Perfect. You're maximizing your time. Exactly, perfect. And Roberta, I always keep my why in front of me when I start feeling like not sending those messages. Exactly. If you have a why, write it down. Write it down and put it somewhere where you can see it. Put it on your computer. Put it on the mirror in your bathroom. I've done that before. I'd have stuff everywhere, like a certain goal or I had it everywhere I went. I was constantly reminded of what I was doing and why I was doing it. And so I probably need to do that again. So anyway, throwing that out there. Anybody have anything before we get off here? No. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great. I feel like there was great progress made this last week, just in light of consistency and in light of things that you guys are doing. I've noticed even some changes on social media in some of you and the way you're approaching social media. Some of you have a different feel about you and what you're posting. It makes a difference. The consistency and the changes and having the attitude of how am I going to add value to people today. It's coming through in the way that you are posting. It's coming through in the way people are responding to you guys by reaching back out to you and by answering those messages. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving forward. Stay consistent with the 7 steps of the winning day. And I will talk to you guys on the chat thread and next Thursday. Guys, have a good day. Keep it up.